The Chicago Bulls lose to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, who were missing three of their starters, which their total point per game average with those three starters being out is 82 points per game. They were missing 82 points per game today. And the Chicago Bulls still lost this game by double digits. By double digits. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. The Chicago Bulls lose by 16 points to the Atlanta Hawks at home. That would be bad enough. But this is an Atlanta Hawks team that was missing three starters. This was an Atlanta Hawks team that allowed Keaton Wallace to go 10 of 18 for them against them for 27 points. Dyson Daniels, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block in this game. 11 points from Krijic, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Clint Capella had a double-double. They allowed 19 points from Daquan Plowden coming off the bench. Shout out to you who've ever heard that name before. And Anika had 14 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Yeah. The Chicago Bulls had no player score at least 20 points in this game. Josh Giddey had 7 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. Zach LaVine had 15 points. Coby White had 16 points off 14 shots. Nikola Vucevic had 14 and 16. Patrick Williams had 10 points. Actually, Patrick Williams had a pretty solid third quarter. Didn't really see him much in the fourth quarter of this game. 10 points from Julian Phillips, 8 from Manas Bucelis, 9 from Ayo Dosunmu in his return. What's up, son?
It's about to die. Like keyboard.
Your keyboard's about to die?
Feel like it.
It's plugged up. It's a wired keyboard. It can't die. Bye, son. Love you. The lights is the LED button is on the top right. Cut the tension, man. Shout out to my son. I would assume 9 points back in his return. He was plus 12 on the field. Jalen Smith had 5 points for listen, I don't F all that. F all that stat stuff. The Chicago Bulls gave a piss poor effort in this game. You see the title of this video. The Chicago Bulls lost to the Atlanta Hawks stunt doubles. That's what happened here. The Bulls were a fully healthy minus Torrey Craig and, of course, Lonzo Ball being down, and you lost by 16 points. 16 of them. Disgusting effort by the Chicago Bulls. 20 turnovers today. The Atlanta Hawks were able to convert those 20 turnovers to 22 points. We also gave up 52 points in the paint. We gave up 27 second chance points to only 10 scored. The Bulls played like utter whores in today's game. This was a game in which, watching this Bulls team play, you would wonder how the hell do the Chicago Bulls even have 18 wins on this season? Just a week ago, Bulls fans were in here telling me that this team was 1-2 games out of 5th seed. Now look at where this team is. We are a full 4 games back of the 6th seed, a full 5.5 games back of the 5th seed. And those teams some of those teams are still playing. We can go even further down today. This is a disgusting team. That's what this is. This is a disgusting basketball team. Utterly disgusting. This team is now gone from being on pace to win about 37, 38 games, so they're back on pace to win 35 to 36 games. What right around my prediction for today? This was a game in which the Chicago Bulls were so ass that I think even calling them the word ass is not enough respect to ass, because some ass is good ass. The Chicago Bulls are badass. And not a badass. They're bad ass. They're terrible. Ball cheeks. That's what this team is. This game and this team and the effort on their home court, I don't want to hear nothing about it being the second of a back-to-back. I don't want to hear nothing about that, because unfortunately, the second of a back-to-back, you still should be able to beat the stunt doubles of a NBA team. They were missing 82 points of production today. 82. People said, hey, Haize, wait a second. You were a little bit too harsh on the Pelicans loss. They had Zion. The Pelicans are a good team when they have Zion. Cool, I'll give you that. Are you giving me the same thing with this Atlanta Hawks team with all that they were missing? There's no excuse to lose by double digits and never really be in a game against a team like this. There just isn't. There's no excuse for it. I don't care what you try to give me. I don't care what you try to sell. The Chicago Bulls, keep this in mind. In their home court against a team that's not that much better than them, but was missing so many pieces, they never had a lead in this game. Never. Outside of the third quarter, the Chicago Bulls lost every quarter of this game, period. And head coach Billy Donovan is a damn idiot and an asshole. That's what he is. An idiot and an asshole. Because for the second game in a row, somebody is cooking and playing with some heart for you in the third quarter, and you don't give them any opportunity in the fourth quarter of this game. Patrick Williams actually played he was +7 with 5 points, 2 rebounds in the third quarter of this game. One of the only players actually playing like they were trying to get. Listen, I don't give Patrick Williams a lot of credit. Pussy P don't do a lot for this team. But damn it, when he actually shows a little heart, you don't do shit for him in the fourth quarter. This team showed piss poor effort. This team showed piss poor execution. This team doesn't act like they want it. People are going to start saying, oh, the Bulls are tanking. No, they're just bitches. That's what this is. This team played like a team full of fucking bitches. This ain't just tanking. You can tank and still look like you got a little bit of heart. How many they gave up the back door more than goddamn Sky Black in this episode. In this game. It's bad. This was a disgusting effort and even worse execution. I said it over on Locked On Bulls. This was either going to be one of those weeks where the anti-takers were going to have it, or the pro-tankers were going to have a week for themselves. And this was definitely one of the weeks so far kicking off that the goddamn the pro-tankers, they're having with it. They're having it. Joe, you've been around too much for that to ask that. You know it's ball cheeks. Ball. B-A-L-L. Ball cheeks. Haize, you think Billy is losing the locker room? Bro, I don't know. I'm not even going to try to add rationalization for why the team's playing like this. You got to have some personal pride about yourself, man. You couldn't get a lead against this team? Come on, man. This is wild, bro. It's listen. This is disgusting, bro. This is disgusting. This is like it, when you watch a team come out and play in the manner in which they did, all jokes aside, all level of festivity aside, all my frustration with this team aside, if you just came in and watched this team play basketball today, right? And you didn't know the names. Let's say you had no idea who any of the players were, starters or not on either team. Honestly, would you look at this team and feel like they had anybody on this team that deserved to even be mentioned as an all-star? Would you look at this Chicago Bulls team in the way that they play today and think anything in the way that any of these players played and executed? These were guys that were supposed to be at any point in time the best in the world? No. We got a gold medalist on this team, right? A gold medalist on this team, and not just a gold medalist in the fact that he was just on the team. He played damn good on that team. And this team played like a bunch of pansies. This looked like, from the execution standpoint, let's take away the point total. From an execution standpoint, as far as X's and O's basketball, this team executed like a bunch of people that didn't know each other, much less than been playing basketball for their whole entire lives. It is unacceptable for the way that this team performed today. And the unfortunate part about all of this is that nobody's going to hold them accountable. That is the part that sucks about all of this. Nobody, I repeat, nobody will hold them accountable for anything. They won't look. Nobody's going to hold them accountable. The Bulls are going to go into the locker room. They're going to say, "Oh, gotcha." They're going to give the whole lip service. Oh, well, we could have did this. We could have did that. If we just would have did this better. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to fire anybody up. Nobody's going to get in anybody's face. Nobody's going to lose any minutes because of this. Nobody's definitely going to get fired because of any of this. This team has a lack of accountability, and it shows. Nobody's afraid to make a mistake on this team. Nobody's afraid to let their teammates down. Nobody's afraid to do any of that. And that is, you can't build a winning organization or a culture built off a team where you have nobody that holds anybody else accountable. I made a joke once, right? That this team leads the league in, oh, my bad, that was my guy. That's what this team leads the league in, because there were so many missed defensive assignments that you would think that this was the team's first time playing basketball together. No communication on the court, no connectivity, none of that. And it's this team that people are still hoping is going to fight for a playoff position? Where? Where do you see that playoff fight for this team? And that's why, again, my pro tankers, that's why they sit in the place that they do. Because, yeah, you could say hold on to Zach. You could say hold on to Vooch. You could say hold on to Alonzo. But what does it get you? When you have a team that gives this type of effort as consistently, the Bulls have lost twice to the Washington Wizards. They've lost twice to the New Orleans Pelicans. They've lost the Atlanta Hawk team with missing the majority of what makes that team tick. If you want to hold on to this team because you think it's magically going to get better, I got to ask you, what, why, and where is that going to happen? Sometimes you need to have a fresh start. Sometimes you need to start over and salt the earth and scorch everything around you. The Bulls are nearing that. They are nearing that because at the end of the day, everybody has failed this team. Not just management, not just coaching, not just the players, not just ownership. Every aspect of this team continues to not only fail themselves, fail each other, but they fail us as Bulls fans. The people that sit there and spend money to go to those games, and you got to keep in mind, right? And I always like to think about it this way. There are some Bulls fans that literally, and this is not judgmental on them, this is going to be the only time they're going to be able to go to a Chicago Bulls home game this season. They had to save up their money to be able to go to this game and have a good time. There's a kid in that stand that this was their first time getting to see a Bulls game. They were excited. They got to see Zach LaVine, Ayo Dosunmu, the hometown kid, was playing, and this is the performance that you get to see. This is the level of competition you get to see. Yes, the roster construction sucks. Yes, our coaching is piss poor. Yes, we have pieces on this roster that are okay, but don't fit together. Everything you look at with this team is a level of failure in every single aspect of it, period. And I said it earlier in the season. People were like, well, Haize, that's harsh. Why do you say that? For every Bulls fan that sat there over the last 2 weeks and really thought that this was going to be a Bulls team that was going to make a move to be able to get into the playoffs, to be able to get and compete for a top 6 seed, you fell into the Jerry Reinsdorf trap, because all Jerry Reinsdorf wants to sell you on is hope. You can't complain about an ownership group that doesn't care about winning, and you yourself are trying to convince yourself that this team is better than what it is. You can't do both. So many people want to be able to do both. You want to complain about ownership, but then every time this team gets a halfway decent win, you want to try to sit there and sell it on, oh, but look, if we just do this, we're going to be at the 4 seed. Oh, we can make a playoff series this year. And then what's going to come of that? What's going to come of that? This team is bad. This is a bad basketball team. And had you guys been tuning in, and actually I told you this was a bad basketball team. I don't just sit here and say, you think it brings me joy to predict my team to suck every year? No, I hate it. I want nothing more to be able to be a homer and tell you guys with every game that the Bulls have a chance to win it. I want to be able to tell you that. I want to be able to come into every single game and tell you guys, hey, man, this is the one. This is the win that's going to start turning things around for the Chicago Bulls. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case. It isn't what it is. This team not only has failed to live up the most, keep in mind, we came into this season talking about how AK has the most lowest bar for what a successful team is, just being competitive. And we continue to fail to even hit that bar repeatedly. Every single time. Y'all can keep lowering the bar for this team, but it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Joe, dude, there are always people traveling from all over the world to watch Bulls one time in their life, and this is what they get. Listen, big facts on that one. Big facts on that one. Safe space here, right? We're cooked until Jerry's done ruining this franchise. I disagree with that. Again, Jerry isn't running the day-to-day. You got to have, now, I'm not saying that he doesn't hurt things, but you got to have a GM that has some damn heart and cares about winning. That's it. Billy Donovan, we got to come together and figure this out. We know we're letting our fans down, and we know we have a higher standard for ourselves. So it's on us to create and maintain moment. First of all, this is the same Billy Donovan who just said that we're in the middle. And the way that we plan to get in the middle is that we hope that some of these guys might be able to develop into something that can get us the middle. You know what, Billy Donovan? Shut the fuck up. Shut the hell up, Billy Donovan. That's what I got to say about Billy Donovan. Because Billy Donovan, out his mouth today, I covered it. I was there. Out of his mouth today, basically said, hey, we want to get out the middle. We're hoping that some of these guys can help us, but I don't believe in these motherfuckers. How can you expect players to help you get out the middle, Billy Donovan, when you don't trust them to play? You don't allow them to learn through their mistakes. You don't allow them to develop through their mistakes. Billy Donovan needs to shut the fuck up. That's what Billy Donovan needs to do. Shut up and coach. That's what you need to do. Can you draw up an inbounds play as much as you can talk about some dumb shit? I don't give a damn what Billy Donovan got to say after a damn game when you coach this type of game. When you get out-coached, outplayed, outperformed, and your team's looking there, holding their damn faces, looking like dumbasses. It's sad. It's piss poor. It's not what anybody deserves with this franchise. This is stupid. The front office is not tanking, but the players 100% are. Listen. I think that everybody's just checked out. This, you know what this feels like? And anybody in the chat, correct me if you feel differently. But this feels like game 70 of an 82-game season where a team already knows that they're not making the playoffs. Where a team already knows that at the end of this, that when the season ends, they get to go. It feels like the end of the Bears season. That's what this feels like. The end of the Chicago Bears season. This is why I say be careful what you wish for, because we were rebuilding and everybody said try to win because Zach was going to leave. Now look at us. I understand half the words you say because I speak Spanish. I'm just as angry. Hey, man, I'm sorry, bro. Listen, I apologize, man. But I'm glad that you can feel the energy even if you can't really understand me, man. This is sad, bro. Scott Smiles? Scott Skiles and Vinny Del Negro Come on, bro. Like you got to spell the coaches. I needed that laugh though. Thank you for that. And I don't even mean that badly. I mean, I genuinely, because I was about to go into a very dark place before I read that comment. The Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Bears are the exact same franchise, mediocre and don't give a shit because fans will fill the seats. Man. The players checked out on Billy. Maybe a new coach might light a fire in this team. I mean, you might as well try something at some point, right? We definitely need a better coach. I think are quitting on him for real. Listen, I don't know if it's quitting. I don't know what it is, but I do know this. I've been around the game of basketball for long enough. I've watched the game of basketball for long enough. I've seen enough teams that even when teams don't necessarily have some of the talent to match with other teams, they have the heart to compete. This is a team with no heart. It just is. Now, when they're playing with the lead, when they're hot from the field, they're going to show some heart. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not real heart. Heart, when you look at a team, what dictate heart to me is when things aren't going your way. How do you compete then? When you are on the second of a back-to-back, how do you dig in then? When you want to protect your home court. You remember back in the day, right? And I'm talking about back in the day, like it's far, like mid-2000s. Mid-2000s to 2010s, where it literally used to be when teams came to the United Center, you knew they were going to have a fight on their hands. Is that anywhere with this team right now? Is it in the room with us? Because it sure as hell doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like this team has any fight. It doesn't feel like this team gives a damn. It just doesn't. This team feels like it's over. You know what? Great comparison. You remember how the season before the season that went to hell, the season before we got 2 seasons before we got Derrick Rose, the season where we swept the defending champion Miami Heats in the first round of the playoffs. Y'all remember that? And then we came out of that. We went into the next season, and everybody thought, hey, this Bulls team, you know, they came up against the Pistons the series after that, but this is a Bulls team on their way up. And then we couldn't get right. We couldn't get right. Now, people forget, I think that team still won, 35, 36 games? But that team, about midway through the season, you could tell quit on Scott Skiles. It was done. They quit on Scott Skiles. It was it. It was over with. Right? It was done. That's what this team feels like. This feels like a team that, I'm not even saying it's just Billy Donovan, but they've quit on themselves. They've quit on themselves. How can you support a fan base and fight for a fan base when you've quit for yourself? The Bulls got to get themselves a coach. And I know that Billy Donovan is not going to be fired. I already know. I'm not trying to sell y'all on a dream. I know that it's not going to happen. But at some point, the Bulls got to find somebody that can help elevate where we are as a franchise. Because I tell you what, a good coach, an above average coach, you don't even have to be a great coach, but a slightly above average coach is not going to allow for a performance like this. And we've now seen this from the Chicago Bulls 10 times over the course of this season. There is no accountability in this franchise. There's no desire to be great in this franchise. This franchise is just doing what it needs to do. Deanna, great point. Everybody sucks. You might as well call them the Chicago, what Brazers? Is that the porn site, Brazers? Because everybody's sucking. There's a lot of sucking going on in this motherfucker. Because this team does not care. It doesn't. It doesn't care. You got an ownership group that doesn't give a shit. You got players that don't give a shit. This is disappointing. And again, I'm somebody who expected the Bulls to be bad this year. How do you have 23 assists but 20 turnovers? How? 23 assists but 20 turnovers. You almost turned the ball over as much as you assisted. It's disappointing, man. It's disappointing. Everyone in charge of running this organization is completely incompetent. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I think the players know that Billy isn't it, but they're too soft to show it. ATL with new players tonight. We're running offensive sets way better than we were. Don't even get me started talking about the actual plays and actions that were ran. You know what happens when you have a team that has a lack of talent? You know what you do when you have a team that has a lack of continuity? You go back to the basics of basketball. You know what the basics of basketball are? Pick and roll, move off the ball, cut to the rim. That's it. Those are the three foundation things. No matter what you can do those three things, and you can create some solid looks for yourself. How many pick and rolls did you see for the Chicago Bulls today? How many times did you see a player cutting to the basket when they didn't have the ball? How many screens did you see set for this team today? How many of them? Maybe I'm crazy, but frankly, if I was in the position the Bulls are in, I'd not give an F. We're not making the playoffs, and the team has nothing to gain by playing hard. Fun bad? Listen, this isn't even fun bad. This isn't even fun. I can't even. Did you have fun watching this shit today? Did you have fun? Was this enjoyable for you? Because it wasn't for me. This wasn't an enjoyable game by any stretch of the imagination. This was like watching a dog struggle that needed to be put down. That's what this felt like. Like watching a dog that needed to be put down, that needs to be put down, trying to struggle to just get up and get a drink of water. That's what this felt like today. Vooch looks like he's covered in giant hickeys. That's how much this team sucks. He looks like he's a giant ringworm. That's crazy. That's wild. This team sucks, and hearing nothing is going to change makes it even worse. Season can't end enough. Man. The team is basically 5 individuals trying to play against a team of 5 guys. That's a big fact. Big facts there. Oh, man. Forrest, I did see someone cut to the basketball, but nobody was looking and waiting to the late pass, lazy basketball. Big facts on this one. I watched this team, and this isn't even a sound elitist. It's going to sound like that, and I apologize. Charge it to me not finding the right words. I'm honestly not trying to come off as elitist against anybody else here, right? I watch so much basketball, right? That when you watch and ingrain yourself in so much basketball, you can see what teams have it. And I don't mean it as far as like championship it, but what teams are connected, right? You can watch when a team has a feel for each other, when a team is actually a team, when a team, like I said, they just understand where and when the other players are going to be. This Chicago Bulls team doesn't have that. The closest thing that we look like to having that was when we're just running up and down the court and they're just passing it to whoever's the furthest man down, right? And then you're jacking up an early 3-point shot. Yeah, man. Listen, it's bad. It's disgusting. It's ugly. And that's all I can say. And it's going to continue to be that for quite a while, to be 100% honest with you. I just don't know at all what to say anymore about this basketball team. I don't know. And all I can say is this. I hope that if they're trying to sell, if the Chicago Bulls are trying to sell us on something that they know for a fact is not going to happen, cool. But I really hope that in the back offices of the Chicago Bulls, in that building, that there is somebody on the Chicago Bulls staff that in these meetings trying to plan stuff is being real honest and saying, hey, you know we suck, right? You know we suck, right? You know that we're a bad team, right? Because you're acting, and this has been always been the problem. The Bulls operate like they've won something. You ain't won shit. You had one playoff appearance, you won one playoff game, and a couple of playing appearances. The way that AK wants to keep this team together, the way that AK looks at continuity, like you've won shit. Continuity works when you've won something. You ain't accomplished shit. The Chicago Bulls are one big ass team of participation trophies. And I hate that shit. We ain't did shit. And we continue to not do shit. Where the hell are you gonna go if when you ain't done a fucking thing? You know what it is? The Chicago Bulls front office is the Patrick Williams of front offices. It is what it is. AK and Eversley are the Patrick Williams of front offices. They're trash. They're nothing. It's a bunch of fluff, no frills. It's a bunch of potential. They ain't did shit. And you got the nerve to walk around here like you've done shit. You got the nerve to keep holding on to pieces in a coach. You ain't did shit. They ain't did a fucking thing. But you want to operate like you're a franchise that won something. Whatever, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. I see y'all bright and early tomorrow morning for the daily. Make sure you guys go over to Locked On Bulls. We'll probably be live in like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Love y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.